Good evening and welcome to the Board of School Directors 1012th meeting, September 19, 2013. Do you guys have the update? Let's run that.
Welcome to this North Penn News Update for September 19, 2013. The North Penn School District opened its doors for the 2013-14 school year on Tuesday, September 3rd. Nearly 13,000 students and staff kicked off the year with smiling faces and eager minds, ready to make this school year one of the best yet. Congratulations to the following North Penn High School seniors for being named as semi-finalists in the 2013-14 National Merit Scholarship Competition. These 9 students will now continue on through the competition, which awards over $25 million in scholarships. Members of the class of 2014 and their families were invited to the College Application Information Night at North Penn High School. Here, members of the high school's guidance department offered advice on the ever-important college application process. Superintendent Dr. Kurt Dietrich is once again holding his community conversations. The first one of the school year was held this afternoon at the Lansdale Public Library. These events are a great opportunity for community members to discuss issues important to them in a small group setting. 5 more community conversations are planned throughout the school year. Log on to npenn.org for these dates and more information. Over at Inglewood Elementary School, National Constitution Day was celebrated with an American Pride Assembly. The laser and music program featured mini lessons on important events in American history and a tour of famous patriotic landmarks in the United States. And finally, Inglewood Elementary School has many things to celebrate this September, including its 50th anniversary. An all-school student celebration was held to commemorate the opening of the building in 1963. Stay tuned to North Penn Television for more information regarding an even bigger celebration planned for this spring. For more stories about the North Penn School District and all of our programming 24 hours a day, log on to nptv.npenn.org.
Welcome to our regularly scheduled action meeting. This meeting is being videotaped for community cable channels. Individuals attending this meeting and intending to speak to the board should be aware that they are being videotaped. In order to meet the requirements of Pennsylvania's Sunshine Law, it is necessary to record the names of all citizens who speak to the board during the meeting. To assure compliance with this requirement, it is essential that those planning to address the board come to the microphone, state their name and address, and sign the Audience of Citizens logbook. Members of the audience are asked to limit their questions and comments. To allow time for all those who wish to speak to the board president may ask the individual to yield the microphone to the next speaker. And now, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome again. It is now time for anyone wishing to speak to the board. Please step forward, state your name and address, and sign the Audience of Citizens logbook if you wish. All right. Recommend approval of the minutes of the 1011th action meeting held on August 15, 2013, as well as the minutes from the work session held on September 10, 2013 is circulated.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Schilling.
Second.
Second by Mr. Maniscalco. Comments or questions about that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Have you guys, can you bring that down just a little bit and get that ting thing out of it? Sorry. All right, let's start with our committee reports. Support Services, Mr. Schilling.
Thank you, Mr. Shapinsky. The Support Service Committee met on Monday, August 6th, and discussed the following. Inglewood Elementary School additions and renovations were substantially completed on August 16th. Punch lists for remaining items are still being generated. School opened at Inglewood on time. There was one change order discussed for general contract, which appears on tonight's agenda for the board's approval. Also, the committee also discussed the design status of Hatfield Elementary School additions and renovations. The North Penn Squires presented a request to committee to install a scoreboard on the Penbrook property where they have maintained a football field for many years. And also the administration reported on the status of North Penn High School camera upgrade and the security fencing project, as well as the North Penn High School and ESC energy projects. The administration also introduced a national building competition called the Battle of the Buildings. All North Penn buildings have been enrolled in this Energy Star national competition to help buildings save energy. And also, the administration also provided a summer projects update. The committee asks for your support for the changes, orders on tonight's agenda, and our next meeting for Sports Service Committees will be held on Monday, September 30th at 6 p.m. here at the Educational Service Center. End of report.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Any questions of support services this evening? Thank you, John. Education, Community, and Policy. Ms. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Sierpinski. I see on our agenda that the amended board policy is recommended for the first reading. That policy was about student absences and attendances and calling in and the guidelines, so that's attached, and I guess we'll recommend it as a first reading. Also, we met on September 9th. At that meeting, we discussed the English language as EL learners, and I was fascinated by that. This is the handbook that was presented about all the policies and things and curriculum for English language learners. And I was surprised to learn that there's about 430 ELS students. So, this was a monumental task to put that together, and what a great program we have. So that was really nice. I believe Marilyn Loeffler was the woman that presented at our meeting, and that was really good. We also talked about advertising. Erin Crew, who's a part of that, and Christine Liberowski came in and talked about where banners were going and the progress they're making in terms of selling that kind of advertising in our calendars and websites and things of that nature, as well as the sports fields, and so they gave us an update on that, and they made about 120, Diane, about 100, I don't remember, about $120,000 in advertising
I don't think
now.
it was that much.
About 28,000.
Yeah, I think it was 28.
Yeah, 28. I'm
Yeah.
not sure where I got the 120. Yeah, 28. So, I mean, it's moving along, and that's what we talked about. So our next meeting is on October 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Any questions of the ECP? North Penn Educational Foundation update. Mrs. Murphy.
Thank you. The results are in, and the foundation reported at its meeting last week that nearly $15,000 was made on this year's golf outing. We're very excited, as this is the most we've made since 2008. I want to thank all the trustees, volunteers, staff members, golfers, and sponsors who made the day such a great success. And some of you were there that day, making it a great success. Our next event is our charity luncheon, which will be held on Sunday, October 6th at Baco in North Wales. That's German American Day, if anyone is interested. Just $25 gets you a delicious, all-you-can-eat sampling of their delicious food. I hope to see you all there. We also announced we will have a second luncheon of the year at Molly McGuire's in Lansdale on February 22nd. It will be our first time holding a charity luncheon at Molly's, and we are excited about this new partnership. I'm not sure how Washington's birthday and Molly McGuire's go together, but I guess we'll find a way. Time was also spent discussing the overall development plan of the foundation, the time of solicitations, EITC, and whether we should focus funds on a specific need or program within the school district in addition to providing innovative classroom projects. This will be discussed further at the executive level. And as the needs of the district change financially, the foundation is also going to try to meet those needs. The concept of a family fund event sometime during 2014-15 school year will also be discussed further at a committee level. We hope to coordinate an event that promotes the foundation in schools, but also creates a community among all of our families. And other districts have done this, and we are thinking about making it more community involvement in this organization. During the first week in October, the North Penn School District will be host of a sharing session among several local educational foundations. We are excited of this opportunity to get ideas on how to improve our organization and increase the funding we provide to our schools. Any questions about the foundation can be directed to Christine Liberowski at the ESC, and also she will provide tickets for you for Baco if you'd like to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the North Penn Education Foundation report? Thank you, Mrs. Murphy. Finance. Mr. Sullivan.
Our meeting was held on Thursday, September 19th. The normal information items were discussed. Actually, it was a pretty short meeting because it was the first meeting of the school year. But we discussed the revenues and expenses and balance sheet items, the Inglewood construction project, and it was disclosed that there's still $2 million worth of work to be billed to the school district. It doesn't mean there's $2 million of work that needs to be done, but there may have been a bulk of that was already done, just hasn't been billed yet. And we had a small discussion about the tax collector reporting fees. I guess there's an issue with maybe a tax collector or two not reporting our receipts as quickly as we'd like. And we're looking at a policy of maybe trying to help them along with that and giving them incentives to report in a timely manner. The next meeting will be held Monday, September 30th, and at 6:30 p.m. in the ESC. That's the end of my report.
Any questions of finance this evening?
I have one question. The over budgeted monies from Inglewood, is that 2 million total, or is that, like, what's the final price of
I
that?
wouldn't classify them as over budgeted.
Yeah, it's not over budget.
Okay, but,
It's just
Not billed yet.
amounts to be billed.
all right, so it's not going over what our budget was
No.
then?
No, it's
Okay,
not going,
all right.
it's just remaining items that need to be billed to us.
Yeah, they do like a cash flow kind of a thing at the finance meeting on the capital projects.
We expect that,
Very little. There's one change
Very-
order
yeah,
tonight,
really
but
small
not
stuff.
really.
you know, you open a wall, you find something.
Less
You can't
than,
stop
less
that.
than 0.2%.
Yeah. The idea is, though, that at the end of the project is when all the billings are starting to happen, because all the, the finer things, the more labor-intensive things are getting done, so we are going to see a lot of bills. So the cash flow report is to tell us exactly what's coming out in the next few months. Works out well when you see it that way. Any other questions of finance?
Thank you.
Safe schools, Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Sapinski. The Safe Schools Committee has not met since the last board meeting. Our next meeting of Safe Schools will be here on Thursday, September 26th at 6 p.m. And I encourage all parents to come out. If you have any concerns about your school's security, come out. That's the meeting to come and ask those questions, and we'll try to address them the best we can.
What time
Thank
is
you.
that? What time is that meeting? 6?
Oh, I'm sorry, 6 p.m. September 26th at 6 p.m. Please come to our meeting to address all of your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Safe Schools tonight? Personnel, Mr. Maniscalco.
Yes. The Personnel Committee met in executive session on September 3rd from 5 till 6 p.m. to discuss matters of personnel and potential litigation. That's the end of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Maniscalco. North Monco Technical Career Center. Who's got the report tonight? Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you. The meeting was held on Monday, September 16th. The director reported that the North Penn Technical team conducted simulations at the North Monco Tech School, and we sort of like that because that's a tactical response team for threats, and we like that they get to know the school district in case something happens. They know the building, and they know how to react. There was a evacuation due to a minor gas leak. They believe a pilot light went out and natural gas, and they evacuated the school. There's the restaurant's opening up for a trial run October 2nd. Board members are invited to attend the trial run. And
October 2nd.
and the most controversial thing on the agenda was first reading of attendance at meetings via electronic communication. translation, there's a policy that's going to be in place where joint operating committee members will be able to video conference or teleconference and with the meeting, so we could still gather a quorum in case we have to in that manner. That was the first reading of the policy at that meeting. We also, it's pretty quiet. I mean, it's the first meeting of the
First meeting of
month,
school year, sure.
the school
Not a lot
year,
going on.
so there's not a whole lot going on. And our next meeting is Monday, October 21st, 2013 at 7 p.m. and it will be held at the tech school. That's the end of my report. Unless,
Thank you,
Dr.
Joe.
Dietrich, you have something to add.
Can you tell me something, Joe? The restaurant opens on the Wednesday the 2nd.
Well,
of October.
That's actually a pre-opening
Pre-opening
deal.
deal.
And
Run open to all board members.
board members to
Have-
go and try the fair.
Have they discussed the operational hours?
Yeah, I believe they do, and there's a menu.
I mean, is it open Monday to Friday? Is it a weekend? Oh, yeah, okay. Is it online? That's what I was going to ask next.
No, it
That's
will
fine.
just be during the week. It won't be a weekend.
Monday to Friday. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. You want to add something?
One thing I would just add that Joe was mentioning, that board policy, which is going to actually enable board members to call in, participate, and vote via telephone. But obviously, we want people at the meeting, so the current proposal is you can only do that twice per year maximum that you can call in.
As an individual, you mean? That's
Thank you,
potential.
Mr. Laddick, for expanding on that.
Any other questions for North Monco Technical Career Center this evening?
When's the next meeting, October 2nd?
No, that's the opening of the restaurant.
Okay. October 21st.
Yeah, 21st. 10/21.
One more point.
Actually, one more note for North Monco. I don't know if we had gone over this last month, but on their enrollment numbers, it's up over 10% this year from last year. So it's a huge improvement, and North Penn's participation's way up as well. I mean,
Bodes
Kurt,
well
did you
for
have
both
something to
schools.
add? I didn't mean to jump in on you.
No, you have it covered. Thank you.
Dr. Dietrich, you're on record as a superintendent
I am.
for till when? The end of the school year?
End of the school year, correct.
Excellent. Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, Mrs. Murphy.
The MCIU met on August 28th. The goals for the 2012-13 school year were discussed and analyzed. And these were the goals. Number 1, to strengthen leadership and services to school districts. Number 2, the Anderson School enrollment and costs, and the Anderson School enrollment is also increased for next year, which is a relief to the IU. Number 3, the new MCIU office space. Number 4, Superintendent Task Force on Cooperative Services. And I think, Dr. Dietrich, you participate in that, and I hope find it worthy.
It's very worth it.
Yeah. Number 5, cabinet member growth and collaborative work. And the IU has worked hard to reach their benchmarks. And these were discussed at the meeting, and I think we found that most of them were met and exceeded expectations. It is important to note that the ESEA reauthorization is still under review with the U.S. Department of Education. We also discussed the importance of quality data team in each district to collect the PIMS data. That was a huge part of that evening. And then House Bill 76 is also something districts should be concerned with. And I think I sent you all an email with all the legislators. The North Penn District participated in Bright Bites, a program that delivers tools and services that measure the impact of technology on learning. 10 other districts have joined the consortium for this year, and so we are part of that. Missy Newfer received the Annie Sullivan Award for 2012-2013. A complete rundown of plans for the new facility were presented, probably about 30 minutes, about how we're going to make the bank into an IU center. And then the IU continues to offer valuable information and support to Montgomery County schools. Respectfully submitted, Carolyn Murphy,
Thank you.
Representative.
Any questions of the IU? Is the new bank building still going to be free?
No, but it's not, it's really fairly reasonable, you know, what
Okay.
they're proposing. Be a nice place where we can have all kinds of gatherings.
Public training. I know that they talked about staff development issues and other things that they wanted to try to
There
incorporate.
may be a Starbucks in the first floor, maybe we'll rent it out to Starbucks over
That's right.
It's been fun planning anyway.
Thank you. Any questions of the IU? All right, let's move forward with the superintendent's report. Dr. Dietrich.
Thank you, Mr. President. I recommend approval of settlement agreements for students 0919131 and 0919132, whose names are on file in the office of the superintendent.
Motion by Mr. Sullivan, second by Mr. Laddick. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
I recommend approval of North Penn School District resident tuition-free 40 school days maximum for student 0919133, whose name is on file in the office of the superintendent.
Motion by Mr. Laddick, second by Mr. Sullivan. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
I recommend approval of change order GC1 for Low Bar Incorporated for the Inglewood renovations and additions project at an increased cost of $21,061.75 as listed per item 54-13.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. Schilling. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I recommend approval of the driveway easement agreement with Hatfield Township regarding the Williams Kindig House per item BA 11A through I.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Schilling, second by Mr. Sullivan. Comments or questions? I would only like to add that after looking at this plan multiple times and knowing that it's a nice compromise to what Hatfield wants from us, they're going to be able to do what they want to do with the property. It's not going to affect us negatively, which was my big concern when we first went into this operation. If you looked at that map, I didn't want to impact our property, our potential. And I think this compromise is a pretty good way to do it. So it's nice, and I'm happy that it was worked out. And I'd like to thank the members of the Hatfield Township Commissioners for that, too. All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Recommend acceptance of the gifts to the district as listed.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Schilling, second by Mr. Laddick. Comments or questions?
Just want to say thank you.
Ditto. Always helps. Do I have, should I call the vote? Any other comments? Nobody else wants to thank them? Mark?
We're taking John as a.
Yeah,
we're taking John.
Group thank you.
Mark, partnership's always nice. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
I recommend approval of bids per item BA 4, A through H, as listed.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell. Second by Mrs. Murphy. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I recommend approval of personnel items listed A through E.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Laddick, second by Mr. O'Donnell. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I just have one comment.
Well, go ahead.
Amy Dickinson was on that list, I believe. and,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I was sad to see her go. She served the district well, and she was a very good and loyal employee to the district, and I wish her the best in her new position.
I agree. Well said. Thank you, Joe. All right, let's keep going.
Personnel
Here,
under
up to
contracts. I do recommend approval of contracts per item BA 8, A and B, copies of which are on file in the Office of the Business Administration.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell. Yeah, I know it is. I'm looking sideways, looking for somebody else.
Oh.
Do I have a second for this? Second by Mr. Laddick. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I recommend approval of alternative placements per item BA 9, copies of which are on file in the Office of the Director of Special Education.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Murphy,
Second.
second by Mr. O'Donnell. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The vandalism report is included for your information. This does conclude the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Teacher. Let's move forward with our finance report. Mr. Schock.
This is the treasurer's report for the month of August 2013. Cash receipts for the month totaled $103,170,354.48. Cash disbursements for August totaled $12,601,302.72, leaving total funds available of $146,667,118.39. That's the end of the report.
Thank you. Would you keep moving forward?
I recommend approval of disbursements to be sanctioned for the month of August 2013 in the amount of $12,945,840.67, and disbursements to be approved for the month of September 2013 in the amount of $4,211,318.16.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. Schilling. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Under other business, the board secretary is going to be directed to cast one vote per Pennsylvania School Board Association office for the following slated candidates, and the best way to do this is I'll put them in the nomination, and then we'll have to call each one individually, so you'll have to say a name. That's the best way to do this. You have it there?
Got it.
Okay. The slated candidates are as followed. For president-elect, we have two candidates, William S. Lakoff and Mark B. Miller. Would someone like to make a motion there?
How you going to do this?
We're going to make a motion for one or two. You want to put both in? Should I do it that way, Mr. Solicitor? What do you think? Should we put them both in?
You can do it either way, including the way that Mr. Laddick just indicated, which is just to do a roll call on each one.
Each job.
And
That's
total
fine.
the votes.
I'll do that. That makes it a little expedite the situation. Okay. Let's do a roll call on president-elect first.
Okay, so as I call your name, please read off Mr. Lakoff or Mr. Miller. Mrs. Murphy?
Mr. Miller?
Mr. Laddick? Miller. Mr. Maniscalco? Mr. O'Donnell?
Miller.
Mrs. Leonard?
Miller.
Mr. Schilling?
Miller.
Mr. Sullivan?
Miller.
Mr. Sierpinski?
Miller.
Mr. Miller has 8 affirmative votes.
All right. For the office of vice president, we have Larry B. Breach and Charles H. Ballard.
Mrs. Murphy?
Charles H. Ballard?
Mr. Laddick?
Ballard.
Mr. Maniscalco? Mr. O'Donnell?
Beach.
Mrs. Leonard?
Ballard.
Mr. Schilling?
Ballard.
Mr. Sullivan?
Ballard.
Mr. Sierpinski?
Breach.
Okay, Mr. Ballard has 6 votes, and Mr. Breach has 2 votes. Next is the treasurer.
Yeah, we have two candidates. Why don't you let me read the names
Okay,
out first.
go ahead.
In the record is Norman G. Hasbrock and Otto W. Voigt III for
Okay.
treasurer.
Mrs. Murphy?
Otto W. Voigt III.
Mr. Laddick? Mr. Maniscalco? Mr. O'Donnell?
Voigt.
Mrs. Leonard?
I voted for Norman G. Hasbrock.
Okay. Mr. Schilling?
Otto. Mr. Voigt.
Mr. Sullivan? Mr. Sierpinski?
I would side with Mrs. Leonard and pick Mr. Hasbrook.
Okay. Mr. Voigt has 6 votes, and
The
Will be the
membership
candidate.
at large representative for the East, there are two candidates, Mara Burry and Robert M. Schwartz.
Mrs. Murphy?
Mara Burry?
Mr. Laddick? Mr. Maniscalco? Mr. O'Donnell?
Burry.
Mr. Leonard, Mrs. Leonard, I mean.
I struggle with this one, but I would go with Mara Burry.
Mr. Schilling?
Burry.
Mr. Sullivan? Mr. Sierpinski?
I pledge my support to Mara Burry.
Okay, Mara Burry has 7 votes.
8. Did we all vote for her? Who
No.
didn't vote for her? Oh, you did? There
Mr.
you
Sullivan
go.
voted. Mr.
There you go, 7-1. All right. So we have our slated candidates. We're directing the board secretary to cast those votes for us through the PSBA. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.